Instagram, Facebook, with your friendly neighborhood Chittaboo, and I am live in the Chicolton. It's like fucking just about 12 minutes after 8 Pacific Standard Time on a Friday, eh? As you saw earlier today, we were having another smoky choky day due to the influx of wildfires in the province, man. Nothing like last year, but the smoke show the last couple of days has been reminiscent of the 10 days of just ridiculous smoke that happened last year. Able to bring up the CO2 thing, as I showed you on another little video on WindyTV, and I'm here to talk about that and a few other things. You know, little fuel for thought number 3. All right, I'm gonna probably talk my fucking doobie all the time. Checking out some of the stuff that's still in cure. You know how it is. But anyway, having a coffee mocha on this fine morning with you all. Might I add, congrats to KC Brains. You won the 5-pack of Freddy giveaway, as well as the 5-pack of the unnamed cultivar. I've seen your suggestions online, and I want to thank you for them. Nothing's really stood out to me, to be honest with you. There was one thing that I thought of beforehand as a name for that, and I'm sort of mentally masturbating with it in my mind, for the simple reason is I don't want this to be in any way paying homage to the person that I was going to actually name it after. So my idea was to call it the Bill Blair Project, BBP. We know who Bill Blair is. If you don't, he's a former Toronto police chief, spent his whole career basically fucking up people's lives over cannabis, being a general piece of shit. Back in 2010, when there was a G20 conference in Toronto, he was in charge of security for that. They basically suspended all of the Canadian Charter of Rights within a certain parameter of downtown area where the conference was being held, as well as kettling citizens and people that were protesting. Suspended their rights, put them in little cages like dogs, literally, for up to 72 hours. This is all shit you can find online. You can Google it on YouTube. There's a movie about the 2010 G20 protest. G10 or G20? 2010 G20 protest. Good doobie, eh? It's not even fucking cured yet. I'll just put that away. So yeah, I was thinking of calling that unnamed second Seeds of Freedom cultivar the Bill Blair Project. Let me know what you think, eh? Also on this fuel for thought was the fact that I'm doing these on a somewhat regular basis now, and I thought maybe I should do it as a weekly or bi-monthly standalone little clip on YouTube. Who knows? Now, I know I've been rallying against the sellouts, the traders, just the pieces of shit that have turned their back on the cannabis community and gone over to the dark side to go sleep with the enemy. Literally, that's what it is. When you have, something like Canopy Growth Corporation that lobbied the government to go after dispensaries, which they've been quite successful. There's over 363 now in the last 2 years. You fought for patients' rights forever, and then for whatever reason, you're going to go and join this corporate entity to make changes from within. I've obviously expressed my vitriol. Why wouldn't I? I'm allowed to have my opinion. But to be honest with you, it's one of the things that we've seen coming, but I'm disappointed more than anything else. That is what I feel about the whole situation. Nothing that anyone can offer to me as an explanation as to why they're doing that or what they think they're going to do. I'm sorry, you're just sadly mistaken. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. You've disappointed me and you've let down an entire culture. At no other time in cannabis history since Prohibition began, 80, 100 years ago, have we seen a fracturing of the community? Have we seen so many people motivated by greed? No. I was talking about the CRC, the Cannabis Rights Coalition, that was put together in 2015, and my understanding was the intentions for that initially were good, but I also have a secondary thought in my brain because the Globe and Mail did an investigative report earlier this year or last year talking about some super licenses that were handed out under the MMAR, where you have individuals with, you know, well in excess of what they need to sustain themselves. Obviously, in my efforts to facilitate Operation Overgrow, the cultivation of extraneous amounts of cannabis is being done so that I can pay it forward and just randomly give it away. I was part of the union once upon a time. I had briefly interacted with dispensary and provided cannabinoid product for that. But the appreciation for amount of time that goes in there, the fact that everybody and their brother is just slinging out pounds and pounds and pounds, and if you're somebody with a couple of lights like myself, you know, the amount of time and effort put into maintaining my garden and the, you know, the quality that I want to have, because I have my standards, right? Not all that in a bag of chips, but I definitely have standards of how I do things and what the end product's going to be. And I know that individuals that I've shared it with have reciprocated feedback with me that says, hey man, you're doing something right. So I don't know what to say other than I was just really, again, disappointed in the greed factor associated with dispensaries and how little monetary value they put on someone's efforts. But when you have people out there with dozens of lights punching out pounds and pounds every 90 days or what have you, the price point is obviously going to drop. So I got to the point where I just said, I would rather just give my fucking extra cannabis away. So that's how Operation Overgrow came to be in 2015. I gotta say, that doobie, man, again, it's like... So, yeah, touching on that briefly, the disappointment in a certain demographic of our culture, as well as the direction that, you know, the business is headed, because I'm not doing what I do for financial gain. I do what I do because I have a passion, I love it, and I really do believe that, you know every little random act of kindness, you know, is reciprocated as that pebble in the pond that makes a ripple, and you know, one person does it, and another person, and another person. It adds up over time, and eventually, if we get enough people to do it, hopefully that we can help ourselves, like literally help ourselves, and really those that are in definitive need, you know, give freely of yourself to those individuals. Like they really need it, because I'm sure that you and I have been in points in our lives where we've been down on our luck. Some people are just constantly in that point, and you appreciate consideration. You know, it's not a handout, it's a gift. So, with the new laws, you're not going to be able to do that. Anyways, some of the other stuff I wanted to share with you on Fuel for Thought I have on the screen here. I'm not going to try to move the camera around too much, because I'm just going to fuck shit up or screw up the video. Who knows? But in the one video this morning, I showed you WindyTV. WindyTV is a great application that I do believe there's a mobile one available on your phones or your smart thingies or whatever the fuck it is, or online. I prefer the desktop, tabletop version, so to speak. And it was another bit of information that I want to share with you through a YouTube channel called Suspicious Observers. Now, don't let the name, sort of turn you off, because they're very scientifically based. Everything that they back up is peer-reviewed papers. Like, they're leaps and bounds ahead of what the mainstream science and media is about what's happening, because, a lot of people are like, global warming. You do your research and go into a time period into the hundreds of thousands of years of Earth's history, as well as into the history of our universe, because we are living in an electric universe. So positive, negative, it's cyclical in the way things happen. So the weather that we're seeing, the extremes that we're all going through now, the planetary changes that are coming at an accelerated rate, are not necessarily due to cow farts and human beings and cars and that. Polar shifts happen on a regular basis. Solar cycles happen on a regular basis, and that's how come I want to turn you guys on to Suspicious Observers, because they have some really basic video series. I'll just try to get this over here for you. So the Learning About the Sun series is a bunch of videos that are not very long, a couple minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and it just gives you a basic introduction to the solar activity on the sun and the ramifications that it has as they go through their different cyclical changes. So here it is, 13 parts. There's a longer one here, 42 minutes CME, solar energetic particles, blah, blah, blah. But it gives you sort of a basic understanding of what is going on a planetary thing. And the beautiful thing is, every morning, these folks put out space weather news. So they're talking about the news and the impact it's having on the Earth, as well as what's going on up in the cosmos. Put you guys back there. Hey, that doobie was good, but I've got the Evo warmed up. Vapexhale all the way. You want to take your vaporization to the next level, babies, and take your dabs and your flower power to a whole different place. Crazy terpenes, almost as crazy as the campfire terpenes that are permeating the Chilcotin and BC right now. As I said, the other tool that I use, thanks to suspicious observers, was WindyTV. And WindyTV is fantastic because it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. You can pull up where you are, your exact location, and you can put all these different overlays on to show cloud heights, weather. It gives you your weather forecast for where you are for up to 10 days at a time. It's very reliable, and it was an invaluable tool to me last year during the 77 days that the BC wildfires went on. So that's up. Seriously. I've used a torch and a banger. I've had the pleasure of using e-nail, and I've used this. No terp profile comes forth any louder than this, and I guess it's because of the temperatures of the dabs are so low as opposed to even cranking your e-nail. Would you do a dab on your e-nail at 375? No, you wouldn't, just because it doesn't work properly. This thing, fuck me, man. So I'm just test driving a little bit of a Renee and Sugar Punch. All right. So the other thing I want to talk about, let's take a look at the Windy site for a second. I'll move the camera again. So I'm going to pull it up. It's already here, ready to go. There is North America, eh? So let me just get that. Over there, that little heart, that's where I am. And as it's sitting right now, it's just showing you wind gusts at the surface. You can slide it so and change where the wind gusts are. See how the colors changed? Let's go back down to the surface. But again, you come into here, you've got all these different types of layers to put on that are applicable to where you may live. And when I was showing you the CO2 concentrations, watch this, guys. This will just trip you out. Crazy, eh? So that's BC and the forest fires over here. California to the south, going through what they're going through. I'm not quite sure if that's a fire there or industrialization, but if you pull out and look at the world, let's go over to China. Well, that's a giant fire up in Siberia. That's just insane. It's got one of the craziest parts per billion values on the planet right now. But here we are down in India and China. Come on over to Africa. We got some shit on fire in Africa. South America's pretty quiet today, but great tool. Great tool. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about as food for thought today was one of the things that I've implemented. One of the things that I've implemented into our lives this year on a full-time basis, some of you may or may not know this, is the introduction of yoga every day. Now, I'm nothing special when it comes to yoga. I'm not doing stuff that's fantastical or anything. I'm just a very basic yoga practitioner. Anyone that does yoga is considered a yogi. So my wife and I are yogis. Hey, Boo-Boo, let's go get some picnic baskets. But on a serious note, 4 a.m. at the farm is yoga. And the reason I'm bringing this up is, I can't remember the last time, aside from cold water therapy, or moving into the middle of nowhere, away from people and cell service and the craziness of fucking idiots. Oh, and marrying my wife. Those things are like major in my life. Yoga on a regular basis is just fucking amazing. Simply what it does to your body, what it does to your mind and soul is unspeakable. You come off the mat with a total appreciation of your time spent there, of yourself, and of your surroundings. And to introduce my wife to it, because she's very, she was never into yoga before. She's, extreme sports like I am, lots of adrenaline, just a little bit crazy. So that's how come we go together well. But she didn't think she would like it. So I introduced her to Qigong and Tai Chi and some other things and whetted her appetite, so to speak. And I found this particular yoga channel that I had not, seen before. You see yoga videos on YouTube and online and all that. So I found one called Yoga with Adriene. And I mentioned it in one of my other videos on the other channel once upon a time. And she's a very easygoing personality, and she has playlists out the wazoo too, because she's been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. Almost 4 million subscribers. She has a yoga video, like if you've got upset stomach, or if you got text neck, or if you're a runner, or you're an actor, babysitter, you work at a desk, you're an old person, you're handicapped, you're in a chair, what the fuck? She has yoga practices for just about anything, and they can be as short as less than 10 minutes up to an hour in length. So again, I'll pick up the old tablet here. This is Yoga with Adriene. Whoops, I didn't fuck that up. So that's her channel there. Like I said, she's got, that's just playlists, crazy stuff. So the one you were looking for is the Yoga for Beginners. And again, 20 minutes, the basics, yoga poses for beginners, where to start, 6-minute video. Come on, yoga at your desk. There is no excuses if you want to make that investment into your health and wellness. And this time in our lives, and this time in our society, where we're heading, I really think it's instrumental in helping us deal with the day-to-day stress, because things are crazy for man, I'm just getting lit. Things are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on the space rock. As we all know, we see it every day. We hear it every day. There's so much negativity and there's so much bullshit going on that we need to take the time for ourselves. A little self-love. Make that investment into, like I said, your mind, body, and soul. It allows you to get on with your day, get through your day, and just sort of put forth positivity, love. There's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of hate in the world. There's a lot of stuff by design to fuck up our species and keep us where we are. Like, we're in a very agitated, hyper state right now. The calmness, even the calmness of the cannabis community has been eroded by the whole concept of legalization. Seriously, you look at it and you think of how, different factions have started, the greed that's going on. I talked about ICBC conference in Berlin in 2015. Sir Richard Branson was on the panel with Arjan from Strain Hunters, and it blew my mind because they just thanked George Soros for his financial investments across the globe in his efforts to help legalize marijuana. If you know who George Soros is, you know how that harkens. Then when I heard Sean Parker was, footing the bill to start the initiation of Proposition 64 for legalization of recreational cannabis in California a couple years ago, I was like, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. And we've seen that happen. We've seen what happened to California. Some are in it to win it. Some are left by the wayside. The medical industry as well in North America, when it comes to cannabis, is just getting shit kicked. Patients thrown under the bus left, right, and center. I can go on and on about this, but hey, I just wanted to give you these juicy tidbits as fuel for thought. This is like a 20-minute video. I hope you stuck around for it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your consideration. So peace, love, blessings from the farm to all of you.